How's it going, Taurus Ascendant? How to find out your Ascendant. If you don't know what your Ascendant is and you're a sneaky Sun or Moon in Taurus, you shouldn't be watching this because it's for Ascendant only. If you know your date of birth and your time of birth and your place of birth in the world, you can check it out on one of the free websites. There's lots of self-generating charts on the free website. Sometimes I use them too. They're good, they're very good. Have a look. I know they're free. And they're good still, even though they're free. Especially Cafe Astrology, because it gives you the nice proportions between the houses, because houses should not be the same proportions for every chart, because different charts have different proportions. Anyway, and so do you. Okay, so Taurus Ascendant, my love. My love. What does it mean? Even if you're overseas and say you got a Taurus Ascendant in your chart, but then say you got like, say you moved countries or something and you got Gemini Ascendant, you should have a look at both, because usually the biggest chart bender is the Ascendant. It's not really what you do with it, but it is a game. You got to play the new game if you're in a different Ascendant. So let's have a look at you. If you're a Taurus Ascendant, chances are you're wrong. When you go into something, there is a chance that you're a little bit wrong about it. You're a little bit on the shady side. What do I mean? Well, you're very malleable, you're very gorgeous, you're very beautiful, you're a little bit maybe stupid in certain people's eyes. Like, you know, when people say doe-eyed, the doe-eyed beauty, you know, something like that. There is something a little bit like a baby, like looking back, but also like sort of like a woman, because Taurus is a very feminine sign. I'm not just saying because it's like a negative sign, I'm saying because it's an incredibly feminine sign. It's very doe-eyed, it's very polite, it's very progressive in its own way with people and words. It's got a lot of smarts, it's got a lot of intellect, it's got a lot of things. But unfortunately, pure sense, it does not have. 11:11, it's 11:11 p.m. Just letting you know. And my computer's in 100% battery, I like all the ones. So basically the thing with Taurus is, if you are not sure where you are and you're like, oh my god, where did I land myself? That's good. I'm serious. And you may not be like sure, but the moment you are like, oh goodness gracious, I'm not quite sure if I did the right thing, that's a good vibe, because you are crossing the Rubicon. You are creating the next little thing about you. You are putting together a new, brand new dimension, but you may not feel excited. So what to do? Well, you've got to be vulnerable, and you've got to be almost like a lamb to the slaughter, or at least feel inside that you are. Oh my gosh, this is no good. This is no good. And what is it about you that is good when you're feeling, oh my gosh, this is no good? Because you're purity. You're coming in somewhere, and you're not as well. You're not as well. But you're coming in, and you must have a pure-hearted, innocent energy about you. If you're not feeling that and you're feeling a little bit like detached, you're like, oh yeah, that person's gonna do this, that person's gonna do that, that's gonna come down, that's gonna change. No, no go. Why? The safe experiences are not the zesty ones that will give you more. It's ironious, yes, but the ones that make you feel like, oh, this is not good, this is not good, that's not good, oh my gosh, and your heart trembles and you are feeling unsure about somebody or something, that's very good. Ironiously, it is very good. You are a very safe sign. You're very, this is just for the ascendants, of course, you're a very self-kept urge. Like something is within. It's like a shell on an egg. You know, things are in. Things are not like blah, like an Aries or like a Leo. You're in. You know, and the thing is, when you're in and you know you're in, like when you're safe inside your shell and you can predict things and you know what people are going through and you know exactly what to say and you know exactly how to look, and everybody says yes, yes, that's when you're wrong, because this means this is not going to give you much. It just isn't. And you might wake up 4 or 5 years later, even to the point of a few decades later, going, I lived my life wearing the same type of shirt, and I went to work and I did things all day, and now I don't know why my life is over. Oh, I never admitted that I was gay. So basically, my love, my lovely ascendant in Taurus, the thing about you, unlike me, uh, is that you've got a lot of knowing inside. You've got a lot of knowing and a lot of debris as well from your past lives, and you've got a lot of urge and a lot of things that are having to be changed by people and affection and things like that that happen that feel like they're like sorry, just had to move something beyond your control. And there's got to be almost like a feeling of being taken away. I've been taken away. You know, it's like I've been held hostage. There needs to be something that is unsafe. Now, if you're not sure how to apply for jobs or how to walk into that beautiful journey with a person, you need to make yourself scarce and then vulnerable. You know, like when people are scarce, you know, they're like awfully like shy, and then they just turn up and they're like, here I am, take me. You know, that kind of thing. When people just walk in and they're like, okay, here I am, I got my CV together. You know, or like, okay, I've been watching you for 6 years now. Here I am. That kind of thing. When you're feeling really trembling, almost like you could ever so tear up, that's the perfect best thing. That's the best bet. If you are walking into any kind of career like that, if you're looking at somebody and you feel like if they look at me back, I will surely melt away. That is the feeling that you're looking for. How come? Well, because life's a bitch to Taurus ascendants, but it also gratifies them greatly and gently. It sort of puts them in a really beautiful embrace by the end of their life. They feel completely held and holy, and nothing ever could possibly blasé, you know, be blasé. Things are alive, things are nurturing, and things are growing, and things are very sexy as well. Like there is something about them sort of that keeps on edge. There is something about them that by later years still gets people going. You know, there is something about this person that's likely to be very, very pure, and something about this person that's almost like dominatrix, like B&D, you guys, just saying. So what to do when you want to leave? So in a descendant, you've got Scorpio. And this is kind of depending on the degrees of your Taurus ascendant and degrees of Scorpio. So if you're in the first 10 degrees of your Taurus ascendant, you'll be in the first 10 degrees of your Scorpio descendant. Usually with this time, it's like, if you want to enter, it's like, oh, gosh, really? Me? And then at the end, with the descendant in the first 10 degrees of Scorpio, you got to go, me. That's right. It's me. And be really kind of like stroppy about it. And then kind of things will come back. Like things will come back to where they're meant to be. It's almost like your life realigns without any glitches and you are perfectly straight out. Like perfectly straightened out. So the first 10 degrees of Taurus, first 10 degrees of Scorpio, questioning yourself, and then at the end you justify yourself. Say, in the job, you can't really go unless you go, that's it, that's me. I know my place, I know these people, I know my work, I just know it. I know it. It's just freaking obvious. When you're like that, that's perfect. That's when you're free and you are released into the next temptation. Now, if you're in the next in the next 20%, so between 10 and 30, between 10 and 20, so I'm getting downwards, between 10 and 20 degrees Taurus, and between 10 and 20 degrees Scorpio, you enter the workplace or the realization or some kind of group or some kind of, you know, formation as, you know, I could be, but I'm not. And then you leave with, I could have been a lot of things, I could have been many things, but I am. Okay, so you can see what you can do. So for example, if you're leaving a job and you're not quite sure how, it's like, well, yeah, there's lots to do, but look, this is me. Like, obviously, when you go like, obviously, I am. I know there's been a lot of, you know, fluffery, but I am obviously this. That's when the doors open and pull you into the next dimension and the new temptation comes. In the last 10 degrees, I know this is a bit funny, I'm sorry. In the last 10 degrees of Taurus, I'm enjoying it though, between 20 and 30 degrees Taurus, the Ascendant goes, bloody hell, this is good. Yeah, this is good. And it's almost like, yeah, this is good. And the best way to enter in those last 10 degrees of Taurus is like, Can I? Hey guys, this is good. Can I have that cup of tea? So beware of yourself not being enticed by the people or the products or the decorations or the formations. So last 10 degrees of Taurus, you got to say, in last 10 degrees of Taurus, you got to come in and be like, I want that. Okay? So you already got some stars in there. There's some stars that make you greedy or make you interested in fluffery. So last 10 degrees of Taurus, you got to send in there. You got to be like, is that for me? Could I have that? And of course, the descendant in Scorpio would go, I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that. So when you're entering the last 10 degrees of Taurus, you got to be like enticed. You got to be almost foolish about how much money or like how much wealth or how much curiosity you are looking at. You need to know that you want it. You need to. And then when you are leaving it, you have to go kind of like, oh, I had it so many times. You got to get bored of it, or at least think yourself out of wanting it, because if you want it, you can't leave. So mainly the thing with Taurus, overall in all degrees, Taurus ascendant, Scorpio descendant, you must be worried. If you are not worried, never mind. It's because it's not going to give you that right, delicious start. Now, if you are at the end of it, and you're wondering, how the hell do I resume my journey and I need to go elsewhere, and how do I almost like have a death so I can have a rebirth? That's a scary idea for Taurus. How do I die to be reborn? Well, you gotta walk the line. You gotta walk the line. Gotta get a little bit freaky. Okay? Gotta get a bit freaky, and you gotta get a little bit sick. Like sick of it, but also a bit sick in the mind. For example, you entered this little church community and you were like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. And then you entered it and you were like, yeah, this is the best. This is awesome. And this is quite likely for Taurus. Any kind of group of people where people believe in something, that's quite likely. So like they enter a little church or like a church group type scenario. They're like, oh my gosh, this is all for me. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This person's cute. Oh my God, I'd never tell them though. And then they're like walking like this. And then at the end, and they're feeling like, oh my gosh, this church is not letting me go. I can't leave. I want to do something else. I'm actually believing in something else. And I think that it's satanic because they will persecute me. They know that I listen to an astrologer, of this type, And the thing that you should do if you're in that situation is go, I'm freaking dangerous. I'm mean. I'm terrible. I'm dark. I'm facetious. And I'm also scheming. Do something naughty. Like steal something. You can give it back. You steal something, give it back later. Take someone's car and drive it back with no fuel. Taurus ascendants are quite good at that. Say you are giving somebody a back rub and then pinch their skin and hurt them. Or like give them a compliment and then take it back. Anything that is like slightly naughty or nasty. That is what gives you the best ending and the best opening for the new vulnerability to flourish. Thank you very much, Taurus. This is just like a small thing, small request. You need to not eat too much when you go to the interview. Because you're the mouth, Taurus, the mouth. Like say if you've eaten too much and you're like, I've had an apple and I had some strawberries and I'm so hungry for something, but I'm not hungry for food. Okay, you gotta be hungry. Like you go to a gallery, you gotta feel like you're a little bit broke. That'll give you the big up, so go to places that are more than you can ever have. Go to things that you can feel like that's so much more than I've got, like that's wealthier than I got. Oh my gosh, these people are bigger in their game than I am. Oh my gosh, this person would never look at me. Like anything like that, ironically, with Taurus ascendant is amazing. Now, if you are walking out, eat a lot. Eat a lot of food. Say you want to walk out, say that marriage is not working, that person's not talking to you anymore, you are not in a good relationship anymore, you're feeling there's like a limit, and you're doing Groundhog's Day every day, which is very, very quite likely sometimes of certain type of Taurus ascendants, depends on your stars elsewhere, and you're kind of going through and you're going, you gotta eat. And you gotta eat everything that you need, even to the point where you don't need it. Like say you go to a restaurant, they're serving something crazy. Like, crazy things, like octopus, like live octopus, just crazy stuff. Like things that people would never think of. And the most dangerous thing you can eat is going to be good. It's going to take you out of where you are. So, you know, for example, there's actually companies online that are selling insects, like dried insects. This is gonna be funny, maybe for me to say, but like every time you have a shock or a story that you can't understand and you need to go, and you're actually over it, and you know your finances are depleting. When your finances are depleting, you know you gotta go. Your health is going somewhere else. You know your stamina is not there. You know your interest in that person essentially is gone. When you know that that's where you are, break out the crickets. Open the crickets and have a handful and be like, oh goodness, and then you can feel badass and even do it on video. I'm eating crickets, or like I'm eating something slimy, and I feel that will actually give you the exit or some kind of dream or desire for the next best thing. Anyway, thank you very much, Taurus. I hope these little tricks have done you some good, Taurus ascendants. Not Taurus suns or moons, that's a different story altogether. So just the ascendants. Thank you very much. If you are thinking about getting a video call with me, or like a written call, it's not a call, it's a video thing. Sorry, it's a video thing or a written thing. And the written thing is very quick and easy, and I basically write to you. So if you want to do something like that, you're welcome to. Thank you very much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful transit.